Hello, it's Diala Samuel again, and I'm here to do a sequel to the last video which I had done. In that last video, I was talking about the place of the grace of God and the peace of God in our journey. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the place of mentors and music. So, MM. So, let's start with mentors. So, I came to Okofia around May 2023. That's almost 2 years ago. And before coming into Okofia is a town. Okay, not a town. It's a village in Anambra, Nnewi, where medical students learn their preclinicals. So in their preclinicals, this is where medical students learn. So when I came to Okofia, prior to then, I was told that Okofia is a place of gloom, that it's a place of frustration, pain. No matter what you write, you must fail at least a quiz. Okofia is just a place of endless hopelessness. Let me just use that in the sense that medical students are just put through the worst. And then the whole idea of 200 level and 300 level being the rate limiting step of medical school. And what I mean by rate limiting step is that you can actually easily be withdrawn, from medical school, like for real. So there was just so much fears, and they'll be like, even the most intelligent of people get receipts, and so you're like, wow. And then when you begin to think that when you are 100 level, you are probably not the most intelligent. If you look at your jump score, you are probably not the most intelligent. So when I was coming, I was like, oh, so even the most intelligent people get receipts. So it was a thing of incumbent fear, inherent fear, if I'm to use that word. But when I came to as I passed through that gate, I told myself that that will not be my story. I told myself I won't fail any quiz. I didn't just tell myself, I said it out loud. I won't fail any quiz. I won't regret anything. That I'm going to work fully in dignity. And that Okofia, the waves of Okofia will not drown me. I was very, very strong and ferocious in saying that. Like I proclaimed it, I cancelled the negativity with my words. I spoke in positivity. I remember sitting in one of the auditorium and I told myself that even if I fail any quiz, I won't allow it to affect my self-esteem. That no matter what, I am intelligent, I'm good enough, and I have all it takes. So I met some mentors. The first mentor I met was a chief. I don't want to mention his name because he probably wouldn't want me to just mention his name without permission. But he was a chief. When I use the word chief, chief is anyone higher than you in level in medical school. So he was a chief in 300 level then, and he was very studious. He used various sources. So he would get some source from Egyptian textbooks, get some sources from Nigerian textbooks, that kind of thing. And I was so motivated by the level of knowledge he exuded. So I would come for night class and I would just watch him from afar, and I'm like, if he can do this, then I can do this. So one thing about me is that I'm very observant. So I am very observant, especially when it's something that I'm interested in. I'm eagle-eyed. You may not notice it, but I'm just eagle-eyed. I'm taking note of the tiniest details. So I stayed a lot with chiefs, and when I stayed with chiefs, I'll be very quiet. I'll stay where they are reading, and I'll take note of their complaints, their regrets, and their discussions. So when they complain about a particular lecturer, I'll take note of that lecturer. When they regret not reading a particular topic that later came out in the quiz, I'll take note of that. And then I was always asking them questions after questions. It could almost be exhausting on their path. I felt like this pain on the neck, you know. During their second anatomy quiz, one of the chiefs came out with the highest 78, and I was so let me use the word awestruck by her performance. And I chatted her up, and I began to like talk with her and everything, just so that I could learn, because I was like anatomy. I was thinking anatomy is like very deep. I didn't see anatomy as very difficult because I loved anatomy, but I was thinking that anatomy MCQs are so difficult. So if this chief could do it, then I could learn. I could just stand on her shoulders. So she would tell me how I must use an atlas, how I must imagine it in take it in my imagination, how I must told me anatomy is about pictures, how I have to read last at least twice. You know, I asked a lot of other chiefs. I was just so helpless. I asked a lot of other chiefs. I asked both chiefs that did well and chiefs that probably were not doing as well as they wanted to. And when I reached out to those chiefs that weren't doing as well as they wanted to, I wasn't reaching out with, oh, hello chief, I find out that we're probably not doing well as you want to. No, no. I would just normally we are just friends, but I'll just ask him how, like, what do you think happened? Like, why didn't you like perform as well as you wanted to? And from there, the chief can tell me, oh, this is the mistake I made, and I will learn from the mistake. So learning from the mistake of chief was very key to helping me. And so that was that. And then on the place of music, before then, I did not really have any interest in Theophilus Sunday music. But when I got to see his music, to follow his music, I think there was one song that was sung in the church. Fire, yeah, 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 fire, purity, fire, fire, burning my heart, oh fire, till I'm consumed, oh fire. And I so much love that song. So I discovered that when I played Theophilus' song, the angel of understanding, let me use that word. I didn't see any angel, but I just believed that there is just a spirit of understanding that overshadowed me in my room and just helped me to read for long without feeling fatigued. It gave me this inner strength, and I think I call it read worshiping. Like you're studying and you're worshiping at the same time. Study worshiping. It's kind of a way of opening up your spirit to divine understanding. So when I discovered this, I was like, wow. So I can literally just stay in my room. The lights are off. My speaker. Oh no, then I didn't have a speaker, but with my phone and my earpiece, and with just my touchlight, and I'll just play his music, and I'll be in the spirit, and I'm reading, and everything is making so much sense, right? And at the end, I'm both intellectually fed and spiritually fed. So in summary, what am I about to say? Knowledge is power. Whenever you are in a situation that people who had the best of abilities were crushed, that means the people who had the best of abilities did not have the right knowledge, and you must seek that knowledge. So when I entered the coffee, I knew that it was not about it was not about intelligence anymore. It was no longer about talent, intelligence. It was more about strategy and knowledge. And to get that strategy, to get that information, I had to meet those who have gone before me. And through that, I was able to avert so many mistakes that I could have fallen into. So many I can't begin to mention because I don't want this video to be too long. But so many mistakes, they'll tell me, don't focus on this. I focused on this and this did not come out. Don't focus on this, focus on this, focus on this. It doesn't mean that I was following it like like a photographically, but I was just gleaning from it. So when you are in a situation where strength and intelligence is not really it, that means the third factor is knowledge, information. You have to seek it from whosoever you can get, from YouTube, from chiefs, from elders, and from God, especially, and from God. And then secondly, you have to have a coping mechanism. For me, it was music. You have to have a coping mechanism because the truth is that work cannot survive without relief. You cannot be continually working up your brain without having some means of release and respite. And so most students will eventually break down, have a season of just don't wanting to do anything, a season of apathy. And music and worship just helped wave that thing because I found purpose in it. I found purpose in the struggle. I'm being motivational now. I found purpose in the struggle, and it makes things easier because when the presence of the Lord is there, and when you are worshiping, and when your heart is after the Lord, your struggle becomes more purposeful. Thank you so much for this section. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And this is just 2 a.m. I don't know. I just can't sleep.